Look, I have been working station security for 12 cycles now, right? 12 full cycles. I have seen smugglers try to move contraband through air ducts. I have seen drunken Keltorians start bar fights with their own reflections. I have even, and this is completely true, watched a Ythrian ambassador accidentally set his own ceremonial robes on fire during a peace treaty signing. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared me for what I witnessed in Marketplace Section 7 on that completely ordinary third-day morning. My name is Vorn, by the way. Junior Security Officer, 3rd class. Not that the rank matters much when your entire understanding of the universe gets thrown out the airlock. But there you go. Professional courtesy demands I introduce myself. So there I was, doing my regular patrol route. The marketplace was busy as always. Vendors hawking their goods, shoppers haggling over prices, the usual controlled chaos that makes station life bearable. I was actually thinking about lunch. Specifically, I was thinking about those fried kelp strips from the Endorian food stall near Docking Bay 12. The good ones, you know. The spicy sauce that makes your nose ridges tingle. Then I heard the screaming. Now, screaming in a marketplace is not unusual. Someone gets overcharged. Someone discovers their cargo got mixed up. Someone realizes they left their transport unlocked. Standard stuff. But this was different. This was the kind of screaming that makes your survival instincts kick in before your brain catches up. Pure, undiluted terror. I turned toward the sound, hand already moving to my shock baton. That is when I saw it. A Raxian death cub, easily 30 pounds of teeth, claws and murder instinct, launching itself through the air. Its trajectory was perfect, predatory, aimed directly at the legs of a human female who was examining some kind of fabric at a textile stall. Time did that thing where it slows down, you know. I could see every detail. The cub's razor-sharp claws extended. Its 3 rows of teeth already visible in its open mouth. The distinctive red and black striping along its spine that screamed danger to anyone with functional survival instincts. The human did not even look up. My mandibles clicked in horror. I opened my mouth to shout a warning. And then she moved. Okay, so for those of you who do not know what a Raxian death cub is, let me paint you a picture. Actually, scratch that. Let me give you the cold, hard facts. Because a picture would not do justice to how absolutely nightmarish these things are. Raxian death cubs are the juvenile form of one of the most efficient predators in the known galaxy. They are born killers. Not metaphorically. Literally. Their bite force registers at 4,000 pounds per square inch. To put that in perspective, that is enough pressure to crush standard hull plating. Their claws are made of a bone keratin composite that can slice through military-grade body armor like it is wet tissue paper. And their hunting instinct? Active from birth. We are talking about creatures that exit the womb ready to kill and eat anything that moves. The Galactic Safety Council classifies them as Class A biological hazards. There are 17 pages of regulations about them. 17. Most weapons do not have that many regulations. If a death cub gets loose on a station, protocol demands immediate sector lockdown, armed response teams and evacuation of all non-essential personnel within a 50-meter radius. 3 cycles ago, a death cub escaped from a cargo hold in Docking Bay 9. Just one. A juvenile, barely 20 pounds. It killed 2 Centaurian dock workers and injured 5 others before security managed to stun it into submission. The station commander had to file incident reports for 6 weeks. 6 weeks. There were inquiries. There were safety reviews. There were trauma counselors brought in for the survivors. And me. Yeah, I was part of that response team. I still have the scars on my left arm where one of its claws caught me. Just a glancing blow, mind you. A scratch, really. Took 4 medical treatments to heal properly, and my arm still aches when the atmospheric pressure drops. The Centaurian who took a direct hit, they had to regrow his entire shoulder assembly. Took 8 months of regenerative therapy. So when I tell you that seeing a death cub flying through the air toward an unsuspecting civilian made my blood run cold, I am not exaggerating. I was already calculating casualty numbers in my head. Already thinking about how to seal off the marketplace. Already wondering if my shock baton would even slow the thing down or if I would need to call for heavy weapons. Death cubs do not play. They do not hesitate. They do not miss. When they launch an attack like that, something dies. That is just how the universe works. Or at least, that is how I thought the universe worked. The human woman snatched that death cub right out of the air. Just whoosh, grabbed it. Mid-pounce. Like she was catching a thrown datapad or something equally harmless and not, a biological murder machine designed by evolution to kill things efficiently. And then, and I really want you to understand this part, she spun around. Actually spun. In a circle. While holding the death cub. And she was laughing. Laughing. Not screaming. Not dropping it. Not running for her life. Laughing like someone had just told her the funniest joke in the galaxy. The marketplace erupted into chaos. Vendors abandoned their stalls. Shoppers trampled merchandise in their rush to escape. A Peluvian family knocked over an entire display of crystal ornaments, shattering them into a million pieces. Nobody cared. Property damage seemed pretty insignificant when there was a death cub, loose, and a clearly insane human woman holding it like it was some kind of stuffed toy. I should mention that the death cub looked confused. Yes, confused. Its claws were still extended, its teeth still bared, but its eyes had this expression that I can only describe as bewildered, like it had just encountered something completely outside its genetic programming, which, fair enough, its instincts probably did not include a chapter on what to do when your prey catches you instead of the other way around. The human woman was making sounds at it. Cooing sounds. The kind of sounds you make at something cute and harmless. She was holding it up at eye level, grinning at it, completely ignoring the fact that its mouth was close enough to her face to remove it in one bite. "Oh, you are a feisty one, are you not?" she said. In common Galactic, but with that distinctive human accent that makes every word sound slightly wrong. "Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Such a fierce little hunter." I finally remembered how to move. My training kicked in, however, late. I activated my communicator with one hand while gripping my shock baton with the other. Security alert. Marketplace Section 7. Raxthian death cub loose. Civilian in immediate danger. Requesting backup and containment team. The human woman heard me. She looked over, still holding the death cub, and had the audacity to wave at me. Wave. Like we were friends meeting for lunch and not in the middle of a Class A biological hazard situation. Turns out the universe had not met humans yet. The human woman snatched that death cub right out of the air. Just whoosh, grabbed it. Mid-pounce. Like she was catching a thrown datapad or something equally harmless and not, a biological murder machine designed by evolution to kill things efficiently. And then, and I really want you to understand this part, she spun around. Actually spun. In a circle. While holding the death cub. And she was laughing. Laughing. Not screaming. Not dropping it. Not running for her life. Laughing like someone had just told her the funniest joke in the galaxy. The marketplace erupted into chaos. Vendors abandoned their stalls. Shoppers trampled merchandise in their rush to escape. A Peluvian family knocked over an entire display of crystal ornaments, shattering them into a million pieces. Nobody cared. Property damage seemed pretty insignificant when there was a death cub loose and a clearly insane human woman holding it like it was some kind of stuffed toy. I should mention that the death cub looked confused. Yes, confused. Its claws were still extended, its teeth still bared, but its eyes had this expression that I can only describe as bewildered. Like it had just encountered something completely outside its genetic programming. Which, fair enough, its instincts probably did not include a chapter on what to do when your prey catches you instead of the other way around. The human woman was making sounds at it. Cooing sounds. The kind of sounds you make at something cute and harmless. She was holding it up at eye level, grinning at it, completely ignoring the fact that its mouth was close enough to her face to remove it in one bite. "Oh, you are a feisty one, are you not?" she said. In common Galactic, but with that distinctive human accent that makes every word sound slightly wrong. "Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Such a fierce little hunter." I finally remembered how to move. My training kicked in, however, late. I activated my communicator with one hand while gripping my shock button with the other. Security alert. Marketplace Section 7. Raxthian death cub loose. Civilian in immediate danger. Requesting backup and containment team. The human woman heard me. She looked over, still holding the death cub, and had the audacity to wave at me. Wave. Like we were friends meeting for lunch and not in the middle of a Class A biological hazard situation. I approached cautiously, shock baton raised, trying to keep my voice steady. "Ma'am, I need you to very slowly and very carefully put that creature down and step away from it." The human woman blinked at me, still holding the death cub, still smiling. Put him down. But he is just playing. Look at him. Just playing. Just playing. The death cub was currently trying to chew on her sleeve, its 3 rows of teeth working at the fabric like a saw. I could hear the material tearing. Ma'am, that is not playing. That is a Raxian death cub. It is trying to kill you. She looked down at the creature, then back at me, her eyebrows raised. This little guy. Oh no no no. If he wanted to kill me, he would be going for the throat, or the femoral artery. He is just mouthy. Probably teething. She scratched behind what I assumed were the creature's ear analogs. It made a sound somewhere between a purr and a growl. I felt my mandibles click in agitation. Ma'am, I do not think you understand the severity of this situation. That creature is classified as a Class A biological hazard. Station protocol requires immediate containment and you need to let go of it right now before it removes your fingers. Oh. She looked at me with sudden understanding, then smiled even wider. Sorry. I should have introduced myself. I am Maya Torres, licensed xenobiological wildlife handler. Specialization in high-risk predator species. I was actually hired by the station to consult on your, death cub problem. She shifted the cub to one arm which it did not seem to appreciate, and extended her other hand toward me in that weird human greeting gesture. I stared at her hand, then at the death cub, which was now trying to bite her collar, then back at her hand. You were hired to handle the death cubs. Yep, got my credentials and everything. Check with station administration if you want. Commander Rethick brought me in 3 days ago. And your solution to handling them is to what, pick them up and spin around? She shrugged, a gesture that involved her entire upper body. Humans are very expressive, you know. Excessive. Even. Well, yeah. I mean, this is pretty standard for apex predator juveniles. You establish dominance early, show them you are not prey, redirect their hunting drive into acceptable play behavior. Basic stuff, really. Basic stuff. She called, catching a death cub mid-attack basic stuff. Where I come from, she continued casually, we have way worse things than this little cutie. Like, way worse. I was almost afraid to ask. Worse than death cubs. Her grin turned slightly wicked. Oh, honey. You have no idea. That was when I heard it. The sound that makes every security officer's worst nightmare come true. Scratching. Multiple sources. Coming from the ventilation grate behind the textile stall. Oh good, Maya said brightly. The rest of the litter must have followed this one. The rest of the litter. The rest of the litter. 3 more death cubs emerged from the ventilation shaft, their red and black stripes gleaming under the marketplace lights. They saw Maya holding their sibling and immediately charged. Not coordinated, mind you. Just pure, instinctive aggression. 3 separate trajectories, all aimed at her legs, torso, and, I kid you not, her face. I opened my mouth to shout another warning. The marketplace, already mostly empty, became completely deserted, as the few remaining onlookers scrambled for safety. Someone knocked over a fruit stand in their panic. Purple Zika fruits rolled everywhere. Maya set down the first cube gently, then she moved. Fast. Faster than I thought humans could move. Actually, she caught the first cub by the scruff of its neck, redirected the second one with her foot. Not a kick exactly, more like a push, and somehow managed to grab the third one before it reached her face. All in about 2 seconds. Now she was holding 2 death cubs, one under each arm, while the other 2 circled her feet, making those rattling growl sounds they do before an attack. See, this is what I am talking about, she said, not even breathing hard. Coordinated pack hunting behavior. Very smart for their age. Back on Earth, I worked with wolf rehabilitation. Similar pack dynamics, actually. Wolves are these canine predators, about this size when fully grown. She gestured with her chin, since her hands were full of struggling death cub. They hunt in coordinated groups, take down prey 5 times their size. Beautiful animals. Absolutely beautiful. One of the floor cubs lunged at her ankle. She shifted her weight, and it missed, tumbling past her. Oh, nice try, buddy. You almost had me there. A small crowd was forming again. At a safe distance, mind you. Very safe. Like across the marketplace safe. I saw Kaltorians, Ythrians, even a few brave Centaurians watching from behind overturned stalls. Their expressions ranged from horrified to fascinated to deeply confused. Now wolves are not even close to the most dangerous predators on Earth, Maya continued, like she was giving a lecture, and not wrestling for apex predators. We have got bears. Massive omnivores can weigh up to 800 kilograms. We have got big cats, lions, tigers, jaguars. Ambush predators with bite forces comparable to your cubs here. Oh, and crocodiles. Crocodilians have been apex predators for over 200 million years. 200 million. They were eating dinosaurs before humans even existed. I felt my respiratory system struggle with that information. 200 million cycles? Years, but yeah. And do not even get me started on hippos. The temperature in the marketplace dropped. Not literally, but you know what I mean. That primal feeling when something much larger and much more dangerous than you enters the area. Every species has it. That ancient survival instinct that says run, hide, do not look back. The mother Raxian emerged from the cargo corridor. And when I say emerged, I mean she filled the entire corridor. She was the size of a small ground transport, maybe larger. Her red and black stripes were darker, more pronounced. Battle scars crisscrossed her hide. This was not some cargo hold escapee. This was a fully mature apex predator that had clearly survived decades of hunting and killing. The crowd did not just panic. They exploded into motion. Aliens, of 6 different species, trampled each other trying to reach the exits. Someone triggered an emergency alarm. The station klaxon started blaring. Red warning lights strobed across the marketplace. I heard my communicator exploding with chatter, security teams mobilizing, containment protocols activating. I should have run too. Training said run. Common sense said run. Every survival instinct I possessed said run, but I was frozen. Frozen watching this massive predator stalk toward Maya Torres, who was still holding 2 of her cubs and had 2 more at her feet. Maya looked up at the mother Raxian and smiled. Smiled. Oh, hello there, Mama. I was wondering when you would show up. Your babies are absolutely lovely. You must be very proud. The mother Raxian paused. Her massive head, easily the size of my entire torso, tilted slightly, confused, maybe, or calculating the best attack angle. Hard to tell with predators. Maya slowly, very slowly, lowered herself into a crouch. She set the 2 cubs down gently, gave them little nudges toward their mother. Go on, go say hi to Mama. Go on. The cubs scrambled toward the adult, making high-pitched chirping sounds I had never heard death cubs make before. The mother sniffed them, checking for injuries probably, then raised her head to stare directly at Maya. I know you are scared, Maya said softly. Still in that crouch, non-threatening posture, I realized. Your babies got loose, and you are in an unfamiliar place with lots of strange creatures. That is terrifying. I get it. I really do. The mother Raxian took a step forward. I gripped my shock baton tighter, knowing it would be completely useless. But see, I am not going to hurt them, Maya continued. Her voice was calm, steady. And I am not going to hurt you. You are just trying to protect your family. That is what good mothers do. My mom was the same way. Fierce when it came to protecting her kids. She extended her hand. Slowly. Palm down. The universal non-aggressive gesture across dozens of species. I am Maya. I am here to help you and your cubs get somewhere safe. Somewhere you can raise them properly. Not this metal box with terrible ventilation and too many loud noises. The mother Raxian leaned forward. Her nostrils flared, taking in Maya's scent. I held my breath. We all held our breath. The entire marketplace had gone silent except for the alarm klaxons. Then the mother Raxian lowered her head and allowed Maya to touch her snout. I questioned everything I knew about the universe in that moment. I found my voice again, though it came out slightly strangled. How are you doing this? Maya was now scratching the mother Raxian behind her ear analogs, while the cubs played around her feet. The massive predator was making a rumbling sound that might have been contentment. Oh, this? Like I said, basic predator psychology. You just have to understand what drives them. That does not explain anything, I said, finally holstering my shock baton since it was clearly irrelevant. Nothing in the Galactic database suggests Raxians can be calmed like this. Well, maybe nobody tried talking to them nicely before. She grinned at me. Look, humans have been dealing with apex predators since before we even climbed down from the trees. And Earth, our homeworld, it was actively trying to kill us for most of our evolutionary history. Most planets are somewhat hostile, I offered weakly. No, you do not understand. Earth had megafauna, Huge predators. We are talking about creatures that weighed several tons with teeth the size of my arm. Saber-toothed cats, short-faced bears, terror birds, giant crocodiles, and early humans, tiny little primates with no natural weapons, no claws, no venom, nothing. We survived by being smart and stupidly stubborn. One of the cubs tried to chew on her boot. She gently pushed it away. We invented persistence hunting. We would chase prey animals for days, just jogging after them until they collapsed from exhaustion. What kind of species does that? And then we looked at wolves, literal predators that wanted to eat us, and said, hey, let us domesticate those. Let us turn them into pets. Because clearly that is a rational survival strategy. I felt my mandibles clicking nervously. That sounds insane. Oh, it gets better. We domesticated everything. Cats, apex predators in their own right. Horses, prey animals that can crush your skull with one kick. We kept venomous snakes as pets. We taught bears to dance. We rode on the backs of creatures that could easily kill us. Because humans, and this is the important part, humans have pack bonding instincts that went completely haywire somewhere in our evolution. The mother Raxian had laid down now, her cubs climbing over her. Maya sat down next to her completely casual. We see something, anything really, and our brain goes, that is a friend now. That is part of the pack. Predator-prey does not matter. We had people who kept tigers as pets. Tigers. On Earth, tigers kill and eat people regularly, and yet some human looks at one and thinks, yes, I will put that in my house. Your species has a death wish, I said flatly. Or really good pattern recognition and social bonding skills. She shrugged. Depends on your perspective. Either way, your death cubs here are basically oversized kittens compared to what I grew up around. My uncle had a farm with cattle. You know what cattle are? I shook my head. Giant prey animals, 1/2 ton each, with horns. We kept hundreds of them. For food, I needed to sit down. Commander Rathick arrived with a full tactical response team. 12 officers in heavy armor, carrying plasma rifles. They came through the main marketplace entrance in formation, ready for a full-scale biological containment crisis. They stopped dead when they saw Maya sitting on the floor, leaning against a mother Raxian like it was a particularly large cushion, while death cubs tumbled over each other nearby. The commander is a Keltorian, large species heavily built with excellent tactical instincts. He looked at the scene, looked at me, looked back at the scene. Officer Vorn reported, Sir, this is Maya Torres, the xenobiological consultant you hired. She has, successfully contained the Raxian family. All hostiles they are not hostile anymore, sir. I can see that, Officer Vorn. What I cannot see is how. Maya waved from her position on the floor. Hey, Commander. Sorry about the alarm. Everything is under control now. I will need a proper containment habitat set up for this family, though. Somewhere with climate control, proper enrichment, maybe some live prey for hunting practice. I can send you specifications. His Commander Rathick processed this for a moment. Then he dismissed the tactical team, who looked relieved, confused, and slightly disappointed all at once. Miss Torres, when I hired you to consult on our death cub problem, I expected reports and recommendations. Not this. Oh, the report is coming, but sometimes you have to get hands-on with these situations, you know. Build trust. Establish communication. With Raxian death cubs. With any predator, really. It is all about respect. The commander authorized her full clearance right there. Special access to cargo bays, override codes for environmental controls, priority requisition rights. He also assigned me as her liaison officer. Me, the guy who still had scars from the last death cub incident. So now I am sitting here, 3 hours later, filing my incident report while watching Maya actually play, with 4 death cubs in their temporary habitat. She is throwing a ball for them. They are chasing it. The mother Raxian is watching with what I can only describe as approval. My report currently reads, situation resolved through means not covered in standard protocol manual. Request update to xenobiological threat assessment guidelines. Recommend extreme caution when evaluating human capabilities. That last part feels inadequate, but what else can I write? The truth sounds crazy. Humans are not prey. They are not predators either. They are something else entirely. Something that looks at the galaxy's most dangerous creatures and sees friends. I have been thinking a lot about classifications lately. About how we categorize threats. Predator, prey, Biological hazard levels. We have entire databases dedicated to ranking danger levels across thousands of species. Raxthian death cubs are Class A hazards. The highest classification, reserved for creatures that can kill quickly, efficiently, without hesitation. Humans are classified as Class D, low threat, physically weak, no natural weapons, standard durability. They are bilateral oxygen breathers from a moderate gravity world. Nothing special, according to the files. I am submitting a formal recommendation to change that classification. Humans should be Class S. S for special circumstance, or maybe S for seriously. Do not underestimate these creatures, because here is what I figured out. Humans are not apex predators in the traditional sense. They are worse. They are the species that turned apex predators into companions. They are the species that survived by being too stubborn to die and too social to fight alone. They looked at a hostile universe full of things trying to kill them and decided to make friends with those things instead. That is not weakness. That is the most terrifying survival strategy I have ever encountered. Maya is leaving the temporary habitat now, heading out for her scheduled meeting with the commander about permanent facilities. One of the death cubs is riding on her shoulders. On her shoulders, she is carrying it like cargo, and it is making that rumbling content sound. She sees me watching and waves. Hey Vorn. Want to grab lunch? I am thinking about trying those kelp strips you mentioned earlier. I wave back automatically. My arm still aches where the death cub scratched me all those weeks ago. A reminder of what these creatures can do, but watching Maya walk past with one perched on her shoulders, chattering happily at passing station personnel who dive out of the way, I'm not scared of the death cubs anymore. I am scared of what else humans consider friendly.